Hey there guys, what is going on? In today's best class setups in Modern Warfare video, we are taking a little detour from the Warzone videos. Taking a break from playing Warzone for the time being. We recently put up our first video, which if you haven't seen it yet, go check it out. It is pretty good if I do say so myself. But today we are looking at an overpowered class in this game, and it doesn't really seem fair that a sidearm is still as powerful as some of the primary weapons out there, but this is currently the game that we are playing in. We are of course talking about the 357 Snake Shot Revolver, which is in my opinion still blatantly overpowered. Now, it's definitely not as good as it did used to be. Like, this thing used to be actually overpowered, like proper broken. Probably the most overpowered thing at the game with the range and damage this thing did used to have. But in fairness, they did try and bring it back into line a little bit, but the 357 is still overpowered, man, and that is why we are looking at it today. We've got the best class setup for the best pistol in the game, and we're going to talk about a number of different options that you do have, whether you're using this as a sidearm or a primary. We'll make a class that works for you. But just before we do get into this overpowered class setup here, let's try and get this video to 10 likes. I have to thank everyone who has been watching the video, subscribing, liking, and leaving comments and all that other good stuff. The support has been really fantastic recently, so hopefully these videos can take your mind off some of the craziness that is going on in the world right now. So make sure you do hit that subscribe button with the notifications turned on so you don't miss any more of my videos. We are of course very close to 500 subscribers now, which as of recording I think we need about 7 or so, which is just wild. So let's talk about this busted pistol. So what exactly makes the Snake Shot 357 overpowered? Well, relative power level is pretty important in games like this. Ideally, everything should be fairly close together in terms of power. But in the pistol category, there is no competition. Sure that you can get one-shot headshots with the Deagle, and that's pretty powerful on its own, but that's why you have a primary. Like, you do more damage at sort of longer ranges with your primary rather than your sort of sidearm. If you do get caught in close quarters without any ammo on your primary, there's literally no other weapon, or maybe I'd say there's probably one other weapon that I'd rather be in that situation with, and it's probably the 725. It does take a load of effort to level this thing up, though, to unlock the Snake Shot, so maybe they thought that people wouldn't bother with this, but in Call of Duty, where there is a chance to get a huge advantage, players will always take it for sure. So you'll probably only see people running around with this and the Deagle in the pistol slot. The rest aren't super bad, but they're not overpowered enough either. I mean, the thing is with this, it got banned from being in the COD League. I don't think you can have the Snake Shot in the COD League, so that should tell you a lot about how actually powerful this thing is. But yeah, let's talk about our class setup here. Alrighty, so starting off with our primary perks and grenade choices here, we'll go over them quite quickly because they're fairly similar on most of my classes. If you are planning on running this as a primary, you'll definitely want to be running the Riot Shield just for maximum toxicity, and it also sort of benefits you in other ways, like protecting you from the back, and you can sort of use it to sort of control points and other things. But yeah, this is mostly just for toxicity. If you are using this as a sidearm though, we obviously don't have to worry about it too much. So perk 1 is of course one of these choices here. There's a lot of good options here. Perk 1 is basically like the best slot. It's got so many good things. Like, we've got EOD so you don't die to explosives, Scavenger in case you run out of ammo, which is kind of important if you are planning on running this as a primary. You can always use Scavenger to get that ammo back. Kill chain is really good too, just to get those streaks into other streaks is really strong. And quick fix is a pretty good option as well. Once you get a kill, you sort of start your health regeneration, which is really powerful. If you do get into a fight with someone, they shoot you as well, but you still get the kill. Your health regeneration will start straight away, which is really strong. Perk 2 is Ghost here, which helps you stay off that radar, which is really powerful. Plus, if you do somehow get advanced UAV'd, you'll be much harder to track down. This also works in tandem with our perk 3 option as well, which is Tracker, which does let you see enemy footprints and you see the markers at where they die, and it also hides your markers of people that you kill. So this is a really good combination for flanking and getting around the back of the map, trying to get behind people and stuff. You can see where they move and they can't really see you on the map. It's really powerful. In the lethal slot, anything is good here. I typically do run a C4 or sort of like a Claymore or a Semtex. All these do a specific job in a very good way. Like, they're all really powerful options. And the Stim Shot is our tactical option as well because it's very powerful in this game. And if you do use flashes or stuns in this game, you are a coward. Alrighty, so in our first attachment slot, we do have a very important one. The barrel is where the biggest bonuses come from for most weapons, and this is no exception. We've got the 357 long barrel, which does give us a healthy amount of damage range, bullet velocity, and recoil control, of course. All of the best barrel options do have these stats. Look how clean this gun's looking, man. Like, this is nice. I love this skin. It just has all these stats that we could ever want to improve this little pistol that we do have here. We do lose a little bit of aim down, sight speed, and movement speed, but that's not a massive deal. It's a pistol. We already move kind of quickly because it's a pistol, and the aim down sight speed we can fix later on. I'd use this whether I was running this as a primary or a secondary. It's just a very powerful option. You're typically going to be getting consistent one-shot kills up close and 2 to 4 shot kills at medium ranges, which is still pretty good. I just love using this pistol, man. It's just a hell of a lot of work to get it up to the right level, though, to make it actually this powerful, but it is definitely worth it to get a reliable sidearm, especially if you're rocking like a sniper or something a little bit slower. You can always pull this out if you do go in somewhere close quarters. So in the barrel slot, we've got the 357 long barrel, and that is the first attachment in this overpowered class. Next, we've got the laser slot here, which is another super powerful option for this class. We do have a choice here between the 1 milliwatt laser and the 5 milliwatt laser, as usual. Both of these do give us an improvement to our hip fire accuracy, but the 5 milliwatt does, of course, give us that boost to sprint to fire speed, which is super strong. It does have the visible laser as a counter to that, pretty much. This is mostly a personal choice here, like most of these are personal preference in this slot. Both of these options are very, very good, though, and they both have their place. In my expert opinion, if I was using the 357 snake shot as a primary, I'd probably use the 1 milliwatt laser, just so I don't have to worry about the visible laser giving me away. I know that you can hide it with good crosshair placement, but the extra thought of having to sort of try and monitor where your laser is can be the difference between you living and dying. If I was just using this as a sidearm, though, the 5 milliwatt laser is probably the option that I would use. Just when I pull it out at that close range, that's when I need it, and it doesn't really matter about the laser too much being visible. If I did have to choose one to complete this class guy, I'm going with the 5 milliwatt laser. Like I said, they are both fantastic options, though, in the laser slot, and either of them are necessary as part of this overpowered class. And that is attachment number 2 in this class. Our third attachment, we do have the trigger slot. In this slot, we are running the lightweight trigger. This gives us a big old boost to our fire rate, and because this one allows us to fire the fastest, it is an obvious choice here. The match grade trigger is also sort of an acceptable option, but for the fastest fire rate, you do want the lightweight trigger. You're getting beaten by somebody else if you are using the match grade trigger. So if somebody is using the lightweight trigger and you're using the match grade trigger, they're going to beat you, basically. If you want the fastest fire rate possible and the best chance you do have of killing as many people as you can, the lightweight trigger is the option for you. In a game with a time to kill as low as this one, you need every advantage that you can get, and that does include firing that second or third shot as quickly as possible. Pretty much all of the attachments that we've chosen for this class are super powerful, and they all do work together to make this pistol somehow still overpowered. So again, in the trigger slot, we do of course have the lightweight trigger, and that is the third attachment in this overpowered class setup. Our fourth attachment is the biggie. This is the one that makes the class, basically. This is the one that is the most important. The snake shot in the ammo slot is one of the best attachments in the game, in my opinion. With this, we do of course get a boost to our damage radius, which in other words means we do fire shotgun shells, which is busted. This gun is a shotgun, and it's a pocket shotgun. Sidearm, just busted, man. There was another pistol like this in another Call of Duty game. If you can remember back to the good old days of Black Ops 2, there was the Executioner. That gun is only memorable because of how bad it was. Like, it stunk the house out, man. That gun was so bad. Like, you could have it akimboed and you'd still struggle to get up close kills. But this thing's no Executioner, man. Like, it is an absolute monster with this thing attached. Perfect for pretty much any close range engagement. You'll often find me even switching out my SMG. Like, my MP5 gets switched out a lot of the time if I do go into super close quarters. Like, if I'm going into the office on Shoot House, for example, I'm usually pulling out the 357 snake shot instead of the MP5 just because of how powerful it is up close. I'm really surprised this hasn't been nerfed even more, like maybe a little bit of bringing the damage back in slightly. I guess they're currently happy with where the gun is at the moment. But yeah, I feel like it could either be brought back in, maybe one less pellet, or like the damage numbers tweaked a little bit, because at this moment, it is still very powerful. So in the ammo slot, we do of course have the snake shot, and that's the fourth and probably the most important attachment in this overpowered class. And lastly, you can do a couple of different things with this last slot. By default, I'd probably run the stippled grip tape for the aim down sight speed and sprint to fire speed. It's probably the baseline best stats that you can get in this attachment slot. But you can also do a couple of other interesting things here. If you are feeling particularly spicy, you can run the akimbo for more close range effectiveness. It's not super powerful at medium ranges like it is normally, but it is still really fun to run around with two of these overpowered shotgun pistols. If you are considering running this as a primary, you could probably run the fully loaded perk as well in this slot. That's another powerful option where you can make the most of this weapon without running out of ammo. And as I mentioned already, Scavenger is also a suitable replacement for that same purpose. The best thing about this class is probably the up close damage, but it's also incredibly versatile and fun to use. You do get loads of different options even within our last attachment slot. So for a complete class's sake, we are going to run the stippled grip tape, and that's where our last attachment slot goes in this overpowered class. Rightio, so this is our full list of attachments here. This is the best sidearm in the game by far, hands down. Having a pocket shotgun is pretty much always going to be the best option in most situations. I just love that you can really be versatile and creative with this thing. Like, you've got a lot of different options here. You can bust out the riot shield and be toxic and run around with these akimboed, or you can run around with your sniper class, and if you do need something up close, you whip this bad boy out. Or it can be just something that you can rely on to get you an easy kill if you are struggling sometimes for ammo. This is one of the most overpowered class setups in the game, and it is a sidearm, which is just wild, and I'm certainly glad they did nerf it a little while ago, because it was absurdly busted back then. Thank you very much for watching this one, guys. I do appreciate it, of course. If you did enjoy it, make sure you do leave a like and do subscribe if you are new around here. We are, of course, very, very close to 500 subscribers, like I said, and we are, of course, growing all the time. So I do appreciate it. If you did make it this far, make sure you click on the links at the end of the video if you do want to go see some more overpowered classes or other good stuff that we have put together. I will see you in the next video. Bye!